and welcome back to Citizen Speak. So, a recent study has come out about Texas. Texas, of all places. So, you know it's going to be kind of bad. The abortions haven't stopped in Texas since a 2013 law had passed. Actually, home abortions, we found out, have risen. And current numbers show that 2% of Texan women are having at-home abortions. Let me put that into a different number. Between 100,000 and 240,000 women from ages 18 to 49 are inducing labor at home or attempting to. And that's only what we know of. That number can be much higher than that. But back in 2013, there was a bill that passed in Texas. And what this bill had did is it limited how abortion clinics can operate. And one of the major killers of the abortion clinics was the hallways that the rooms are attached to. They have to be the same width as hospital hallways. Well, you can't just pick up part of a building and move it that easily. So a lot of abortion clinics had to close down because they don't have the money to do these major renovations. And there's a lot of abortion clinics that are nonprofit or they run very near nonprofit. So there's not extra cash for them to pass around on this. And what happens is when you have women who try to induce labor at home, that's either physical harm to themselves by hitting their abdomen or even taking medication or roots or whatever they may take, they can have major health complications. And even let's say if the abortion doesn't take, the woman's not able to abort the fetus that's inside of her, it can cause major harm to the fetus. And then once it is born, then it could be severely mentally handicapped or worse. So whether you agree that abortion should be legal or not, here's what we know about it. In countries or states that ban abortion rates rise. Because what fills their void is a pro-abstinence only education towards sex education. And what that does is it actually increases the rate of unplanned pregnancies. And it increases the rate of teen pregnancies. Because the information isn't out there for these kids to get or for adults to get in impoverished neighborhoods. There's not places for them to get this information anymore because of bills that had passed similar to in Texas. Or just the community in general doesn't offer a service to people who need it. And honestly, the people who need it are the people who are of lower income because education for this topic is harder to come by for them. And also the culture that they're in promotes not using condoms or promotes abstinence only. Well, you know what happens when your parents tell you not to date that cute girl or guy in high school. You go and date them, and then you just do what you do, as people do. And then you have unwanted or unplanned pregnancies, and then it leads to abortions. But if you look at the countries that have abortion legal, but concentrate on a comprehensive sex ed program, that means talking about birth control. That means talking about STDs, talking about abstinence still, but also about safe sex in general. What it means to have safe sex. What it means to get pregnant at any age when the sex ed is taught. And how it's going to affect the woman's body or the woman's health. And also, I know that when I went through sex ed in my school, they didn't really teach a whole lot about birth control. They had touched on it maybe for 10 minutes out of the hour-long class that I took every other week for a semester. And in that class, it was honestly mostly pro-abstinence. And as a result, my school started to have a higher and higher teen pregnancy rate every single year. Well, if you look at any of the other schools that were in my area that had a more comprehensive sex ed program, there was less teen pregnancy. There's a direct correlation there. So if you don't think that abortion should be legal, I get that and I understand it. But what you need to do is you need to concentrate on comprehensive sex ed. Because what happens is people are going to have sex just one way or another, whether you like it or not. People are going to go out there and do what people do. So if we concentrate on better methods, such as more comprehensive sex ed, then you're going to find out that there's going to be less unwanted pregnancies. Now, condoms and birth control, they're not 100%, and yes, abstinence is 100%, but it's not 100% when that's all that you teach. Use it as a tool in your wheelhouse. I firmly believe that. But if you only go on abstinence, like I've said before in this podcast, you're going to have more unwanted pregnancies. And then you're going to have more abortions. And a lot of people, they'll say, well, they should be giving those kids up for adoption if they don't want them. Well, what about rape or incest? Have you ever been in that position where, honestly, no, that's a bad point, because everybody's story is different. It doesn't matter if you've been in that position or not. You shouldn't make other people live by your standards, by your choices. We should have a way for everybody to do as they need. And yeah, I don't like abortion. But I know that it saves lives for the women who end up having it instead of them inducing labor or trying to have an abortion at home. It saves their lives. So then later when they are ready, if they ever are in the mood for having children at any stage in their life, they can have children. But taking away their option to have an abortion will only increase abortions. And there's so many different examples that you can look at just around the world alone that will tell you that if you're going to ban something, it's just going to make it that much more likely that it will happen in your society. So let me know what you think in the comments or on Twitter at CITSpeak. That's CITZ Speak. Thank you so much for listening. Share this podcast with your friends if you like it. All right, thank you so much for listening. You guys have a great night.